This video is brought to you by Nebula. Today, a US judge blocks Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship. Belarus holds its presidential election, and North Korea prepares to send more troops to Ukraine. From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Friday the 24th of January 2025. In our main story today, a US federal judge has blocked an executive order issued by US President Donald Trump earlier this week to end birthright citizenship in the US, calling it blatantly unconstitutional. The decision, which is temporary until a final ruling in the courts, is the first legal setback for the new Trump administration, and a blow to his hardline anti-immigration crackdown. On Monday, hours after his inauguration, Trump signed a flurry of policies aimed at toughening up the US's immigration laws, including deporting undocumented migrants, lowering the number of refugees admitted into the US, and suspending entry to travelers from predominantly Muslim countries. He also issued an order to end the practice of birthright citizenship, i.e. the automatic granting of citizenship to any child born on US soil, which would also extend to the children of mothers who give birth in the US on a temporary stay, such as on a work, student, or tourist visa. Then, on Tuesday, 4 Democratic state attorneys general, Washington, Oregon, Arizona, and Illinois, filed a lawsuit against the order. This was then followed by separate lawsuits from other Democratic state attorneys general and civil rights groups. They all cited similar violations of the US Constitution's 14th Amendment, which states that all persons born or naturalized in the US are citizens of the United States. The Office of Washington's Attorney General said, if allowed to stand, the unconstitutional and un-American order would cause thousands of newborns and children in Washington to lose their ability to fully and fairly participate in American society as citizens, despite the Constitution's guarantee of their citizenship. Trump's order, meanwhile, argued that the 14th Amendment did not extend citizenship universally to everyone born in the US. So where does this leave Trump now? Well, on Thursday, John Cooner, the US District Court judge in Seattle who presided over the arguments, issued a restraining order preventing it from going into force. However, Trump has made clear that he intends to appeal the decision and expects it to be overturned at the Supreme Court. Speaking to reporters in the Oval Office on Thursday, Trump said, "Obviously we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle. There's no surprises with that judge." There's more on the way, but remember to subscribe and ring the bell for more daily briefing on Monday. Plus, if you want to support the channel like the Dormant God, then consider joining the TLDR Daily Membership Program for just $1.99. In Belarus, early voting has opened for the country's presidential elections, which will almost definitely see incumbent pro-Putin President Alexander Lukashenko cement his grip on power. The election, which opened on Tuesday and runs until Sunday, was originally set for the summer, but was brought forward by 6 months due to fears that the warmer weather would encourage protests against Lukashenko's administration. The European Parliament and US State Department have called it a sham, saying the vote cannot be free under Belarus's current repressive environment. For context, Lukashenko was re-elected in 2020 in a rigged vote, sparking mass protests and a brutal state crackdown. Around 7,700 people faced politically motivated charges for protesting, posting comments online, or working with NGOs, and thousands were imprisoned or forced into psychiatric wards. According to the human rights organisation Vyazna, nearly 1,300 people remain in prison in Belarus, and in 2024 alone, more than 1,700 people were convicted, some for simply sending food to prisoners. As a result, hundreds of thousands of Belarusians have fled the country, while Lukashenko has had to rely increasingly on support from Russian President Vladimir Putin. Since 2020, Lukashenko has visited Russia more than 20 times and hosted Putin in Belarus 3 times. Western sanctions on both countries have increased their mutual dependence, with the Belarusian economy growing by 4% last year, largely thanks to Russian consumer demand, cheaper oil and gas, and cheap Russian loans. The chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, Karim Khan, has requested arrest warrants for the Taliban supreme leader and Afghanistan's chief justice on the grounds that they, quote, bear criminal responsibility for the crimes against humanity of persecution on gender grounds. It's reportedly the first time that the prosecutor has built a case around systemic crimes against women and girls. The prosecutor's office said the ongoing persecution has been committed from at least the 15th of August 2021 to the present day, and entails numerous severe deprivations of victims' fundamental rights contrary to international law, including the right to physical integrity and autonomy, to free movement and free expression, to education, to private and family life, and to free assembly. Those affected are Afghan girls and women, as well as persons whom the Taliban perceived as not conforming with their ideological expectations of gender identity or expression, and persons whom the Taliban perceived as allies of girls and women. The requested warrants are for Supreme Leader Habatullah Akhundzada and Chief Justice Abdul Hakim Haqqani, but the Chief Prosecutor said his office would file further applications for other senior members of the Taliban soon. While activists have hailed this as a vindication and an important moment, with the Taliban having issued more than 80 decrees violating women's basic rights, it's unlikely that there will be immediate consequences, as neither man is likely to travel anywhere they might face arrest anyway. Moving to Ukraine now, where it's been reported that more North Korean troops will be sent to the embattled nation on the behalf of Russia. This is a claim made by the South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff in a statement this morning. Specifically, they claim that the North Korean regime is suspected of accelerating follow-up measures and preparation for an additional dispatch of troops. It's worth noting here, though, that the Joint Chiefs of Staff have not suggested exactly what Pyongyang is planning. The suggestion of more troops comes after an estimated 11,000 troops have already been sent to the war-torn region. Additionally, this news also comes amid a suggestion that Donald Trump is going to rekindle his relationship with Kim Jong-un, describing him in a Fox News interview as a smart guy. Exactly what all this means for the war in Ukraine is not yet known. Like a lot of things, this whole situation is very much in a state of flux. With us entering a new year and Trump re-entering the White House, well, the world has felt more stable, hasn't it? Every day we're faced with weird headlines, from Trump's attempts to take over Canada and Elon's wild ride in Europe, or even Trump trying to swap New Jersey for a shiny Charizard on the playground. Okay, that last one might not be real, but we do dive into the chaotic world of US politics in our series WTF USA. That's our series where we explain everything that's happened across the pond in the land of the free. Because while the election might be over, with Trump in the Oval Office, the number of WTF moments only looks likely to increase. Unlike some of our other more serious videos, the tone of WTF USA is more light-hearted, and takes something of an irreverent look at what's going on. If you're interested, WTF can be found exclusively on Nebula. Now, if you didn't know, Nebula is an independent, creator-owned streaming platform that specializes in thoughtful content. Over there, you can find creators like Wendover Productions, Real Life Law, and Legal Eagle, with many of them releasing their very own original series on the platform. We're super proud of WTF USA, and we hope that with your support, we'll be able to make other interesting, weird, and entertaining series with Nebula in the future. So signing up genuinely helps TLDR to grow and expand. You can also watch every normal TLDR video on Nebula ad-free, and in some instances before they land on YouTube. If you're not a member already, click our link in the description to get 40% off. We really hope you check out the series, and as always, thanks for your support.